It wasn't the actual devil. No, they were just dressed as the devil, Mom.
And here are the lyrics, by the way, to his song Unholy. Mummy, don't know daddy's getting hot at the body shop doing something unholy. He's sat back while she's dropping it. She be popping it.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
What's up, you guys? This is Moral of the Story, and today I have a story to tell you about why are all the Christians so mad at Sam Smith. Okay? And also, if I sound a little stuffy, it's because I am just getting over a cold. So ignore that. Ignore that. As a Christian myself, I will try to break this down for people who are not of the faith and may be a little confused on like why are people even making a big deal out of it? Why does anybody care? Well, first, let's look at what the Young Turks have to say, because if you're not a Christian, I'm sure you will be able to relate to their response a little bit more.
Okay, so one of the things I wonder when I see stories like this is, was the country always this crazy? That where you would have a giant chunk of people think that that was actually related to Satan? That Beelzebub himself was like, yo, bro, Sam Smith, I got an idea for the Grammys, okay? It's a little on the nose. We're not gonna be very subtle here. Why don't you dress up as me and then get everybody else to dress up like demons and stuff? And that way, I bet a lot of people in America will go, oh, Satan, yeah, that's the guy I should look into. And then they'll become demonic.
Okay, so that's just not how that works, right? Now, I'm sure, look, I'm not gonna speak for every single Christian out there. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who aren't Christians who probably get this impression that we are literally saying that Sam Smith is like in his prayer closet, like literally praying to Satan himself and bowing down consciously, right? But it's really not as transparent as that. Because if you actually look at what Satanists truly believe, at least today, it has nothing to do with, well, not that it has nothing to do with Satan himself. They just don't actually believe that Satan exists. They believe that, hell is made up, heaven is made up, but they identify with the character of Satan, all right? Because they liked how he rebelled against God. They liked how he did his own thing, right? And that's really what Satanism is all about, doing what you want, being who you are. Even it doesn't matter if it hurts anybody else. It doesn't matter if someone else doesn't like it. It doesn't matter what your actions will do to humanity. You do you, boo. It's essentially what Satan is saying. I mean, that's just really what it is. But overall, Satanism is a retaliation against religion, specifically against Christianity. And Kim Petras herself even said this in her interview. She said that the reason why she and Sam created this theme, created this production for the Grammys was simply because she feels like religion does not want her. Let's take a look.
Well, I think a lot of people honestly have kind of labeled what I stand for and what Sam stands for as religiously not cool. And I personally grew up wondering about religion and wanting to be a part of it, but then slowly realizing it doesn't want me to be a part of it. And so, yeah, it's a take on not being able to choose religion and not being able to, live the way that people might want you to live.
Now, also, if you go on her Instagram, right? I'm gonna put it on the screen. She posted merch. It's like Kim Petras merch. It has like the cross on there. It says Kim Petras saves. It says I used to be straight, but Kim Petras saved me. All of this nonsense, right? So like clearly the message was directed to Christians specifically. Even though there are other religions, which I find it very ironic. Why is it always just Christianity? There are other religions who believe the same thing when it comes down to the same-sex marriage, right? Or transgender. And it's like only Christians get the heat for it. As somebody who believes that the devil is real and knows that the Bible calls the devil the master of deception, I start to realize this is exactly what he wants, right? Because if people actually believed that Satan existed and it wasn't just all about them being rebels, like Madonna says, we'll talk about Madonna later, or just following their heart and not worrying about what anybody else says. If it wasn't presented in that way and they knew Satan for who he actually was, I guarantee you they would run the opposite direction. Them not believing that he actually exists is exactly what he wants. So no, I don't believe Sam Smith is in his prayer closet, like I said, praying to Satan. I don't even think he knows what he's doing when he goes on stage dressing up as Satan and then claiming has nothing to do with Satanism, as some people like to say.
I don't know, man. How do you talk to people? I don't understand how we're supposed to communicate. How could you possibly think that's actually
I just
satanic?
think it's hilarious that
How do you dress up as Satan? How do people look at him, dress up as Satan, and there's fire and there's red, and Kim Petras even says that she was supposed to be a hellkeeper, and they say it has nothing to do with Satanism. It doesn't make any sense. But all right, moving on. Knowing that Satan is the master of deception, these people are being deceived by thinking they're just following your heart and following what Satanists literally live by, do what thou wilt. And people think that that type of messaging is love. And it's not love. It's not love. Because a society with a selfish mindset like this will always crumble. It will always lead to destruction. And that's why God tells us to stay away from this type of mindset. That type of mindset typically only feeds into what our flesh wants. And something about human nature, it's just we don't typically want what's actually good for us, right? I'll give you an example. There's this thing going around now like sex positivity and your body count doesn't matter. And sleep with whoever you want, and you do you, and all this kind of stuff. And everyone thinks that this message is cool. They think this message is all inclusive and it's just being free and open-minded. And it's so funny because I've been watching Candace Owens lately, and she said something about open-mindedness is not always the right thing, right? Because what are you actually putting into your mind if it's so open?
And so I was thinking about why my entire life I have been told to keep an open mind and to be open-minded. What does being open-minded actually earn us, is my question. What does it mean to be open-minded? Keep an open mind to what, right? To more worldly things, to more secular things. When you keep an open mind, where does it land you? I would say that it probably lands you very open to sin, to continually sinning, right? If you keep an open mind, go to college, that's where you learn to binge drink. I'm not saying it's all bad. What I am saying is that when you keep an open mind, there are a lot of bad things that can enter that open mind. And I think that the consequence of so many people aspiring to open-mindedness is what we're seeing today in society.
Right? You have the ability to attract more negative things than positive things when you have such an open mind. What are you putting in your mind? But anyways, this sex positivity movement that's going on seems like it's all good and it seems like it's all inclusive, but STDs are an all-time high, right? Adultery is at an all-time high. So clearly something about the sex positivity movement isn't what something that we feel like it's right isn't actually right. Another example would be mental health, right? You know, everyone says to go get your pills, go get the pills that you need, go get the SSRIs, or go get surgery. You know, if you don't feel good about yourself, just change yourself, is what people are saying. Go get the surgeries you need, go take all the pills you want, instead of turning to God, right? Because it seems like society tells you to turn everywhere else but God. It's like society has tried everything but God. I wonder why that is. And clearly what society is telling us isn't working, because anxiety is at an all-time high. Depression is at an all-time high. Unaliving yourself is at an all-time high. So clearly all of these things that society tells you to do, or what we feel like is right, isn't actually working. What we want is more often not what we need. And a person who follows their selfish ways will always end up in destruction. That's why we need God. Now, let's take a look at what scripture says. This is coming from 2 Timothy 3:1-5. But understand this, that in the last days, there will come times of difficulty. For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasures rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. Now, when you look at those verses and you look at what society tells us today, one, it's no different than what God tells us to avoid. But two, you can start to understand why Christians were so alarmed with Sam Smith's performance. Even if Sam Smith isn't consciously aware that he is giving praise to the ways of Satan and to the ways of wickedness, doesn't mean that he's still not doing it. Let's move on. Let's move forward. And let's also talk about Madonna's opening speech. And there's just so many things about this night in general that just was so ironic, right? Because see, Sam Smith and Kim Petras, I'm sorry to keep leaving her out. Sam Smith and Kim are not the only people who mocked Jesus. If you looked at Jay-Z's performance for God Did, his entire verse is about how God didn't do it, he did. The imagery is the Last Supper and he's sitting as Jesus. So it's like, it's not, I will say, I do feel like it is unfair, right? Because Jay-Z can do stuff like that and nobody's in uproar about it. You know, because Jay-Z did something like that and no one's really talking about it. But Sam Smith, someone who's homosexual, everyone is all, you know, up in arms. And I will say that is where some of the hypocrisy does lie, because we can't just we have to call it all out, which a lot of Christians do, by the way. It's not like all Christians are just focused on certain things. A lot of Christians would even say this over-sexualizing of women is still wrong, like rap music. It's just, there's a lot of issues. It's not just Sam Smith. Okay. It's just the fact that this was presented at the Grammys without any because at one point in time, this type of stuff wouldn't even be allowed at the Grammys, right? Now let's take a look at Madonna's opening speech for Sam Smith and Kim Petras' performance, because even that was just something.
If they call you shocking, scandalous, troublesome, problematic, provocative, or dangerous, you are definitely onto something.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
All right, you see right there? Oh, so we're on to something. Okay. So she's admitting that all of these things are dangerous, but for some reason she's pointing it out like, okay, but deal with it, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, she's obviously admitting that these things are not good, but she just wants to do it anyways. Do what thou wilt. This is what I'm saying. This is like what Satan is saying. It doesn't matter. Even if it is dangerous, you're right. We're still going to do what we want to do. But regardless though, what I'm trying to say is it's just the over sexualization. Why does everything have to be so sexual? Why does everything have to be so seductive? What is that about? Seriously, what is that about? Why does everything have to be about sex? Why is she holding a paddle or something? I'm assuming that's like some 50 grays of 50 shades of gray. 50 shades of gray type stuff. But I was like, for what? What is the point? Literally, why? I just don't understand. Why? Anyways, and now keep in mind, Madonna's not some rainbows and sunshine, right? Because she's talking about, oh, it's dangerous and we know it. And yeah, it is very dangerous. Madonna is very dangerous. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Madonna came out with a sex book in the late 90s, and she refers to her, I'm gonna put it on the screen. She refers to her encounter with an underage boy and sleeping with him and all this kind of stuff. It's disgusting. And these are the type of people that we look up to. People look up to. These are the type of celebrities that we praise and worship. But what's even weirder, though, is that Sam Smith, he tweeted out, let me get this right. Sam Smith posted a tweet the night of the Grammys before he performed, and it said, "This is going to be special, #Grammys." And then CBS responded to him. Now, this is before the performance, right? CBS responded to him saying, "We are ready to praise and worship you."
Did you see what CBS posted on their Twitter account? Sam Smith says this is going to be special, and he's practicing for his little dance rehearsal. This is what the man said. Look at what CBS just posted. You can say that again. We are ready to worship. Excuse me?
Now look, all of that could have been a coincidence. To be honest with you, I don't even think, maybe CBS didn't know what was going on. Maybe they did know. I don't know. I feel like CBS knows a little bit more about things than we think that they do. But I thought it was a little ironic, and then they deleted it. Did I mention that already? They deleted that. I'm sure they didn't realize the type of performance Sam Smith was going to do, but I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. Whether you realize it or not, everything happens for a reason. So the fact that CBS even tweeted that to begin with, and I'm sure they deleted it because they were like, oh crap, like that's... The Sam Smith performance isn't the only thing that's weird. His music video and everything surrounding that is also weird as well. And I'm not talking about the Unholy music video, even though that is a whole nother thing in of itself. I'm talking about the I'm Not Here to Make Friends music video. And this Christian YouTuber Ruslan pointed this out. And let's take a look.
But remember, this is the same guy who dropped the video just 5 days ago, which, by the way, I guarantee you is still monetized on YouTube, of him in this leotard with men dry humping on him and all kinds of weird stuff. And this is just readily available for public consumption by you and your children, while Christians and YouTube channels constantly get demonetized or get crumbs off the table to articulate the gospel in any meaningful way on these major platforms.
Now, points were made because to this day, that video is still monetized. And I just don't understand, because why is YouTube allowing children to be able to potentially see this video? I mean, like, if you've seen the video, you know that it should not be monetized. But for some reason, Sam Smith gets a pass. Why? Because he's homosexual? Is that it? Or is it because the first gay porn star ever got top of the charts or something? I think that was for the Unholy music video. Sorry. But regardless though, it's just a little weird. It's like, why is that monetized? And the thing is, to me, this shows some type of agenda, right? Because they are purposely pushing this video out in the media. And once again, adults should be able to watch what adults want. But I'm just saying, the fact that it's monetized when it shouldn't be shows that there is some type of agenda behind this. I just don't see how there's not. Now, because like Ruslan said, Christians get demonetized just for speaking the gospel, or other people get demonetized for even questioning, the vaccine. But Sam Smith gets to have kids see all of that debauchery in his music video. Like, I just don't really get how that's allowed, but all of these other things are not. And then I started to think, well, it's probably because YouTube and other major platforms like the Grammys, they probably understand that this type of content sells, right? I mean, if you look at Hollywood, if you look at all of our most popular music, our most popular movies, I mean, it's just all of that type of stuff that it seems like gets top of the charts is usually always surrounded by sexual stuff and cursing and drugs and violence. It's just, have you ever really stopped and wondered to yourself why that is? Why do we enjoy such wickedness? like seriously, why is that cool for us? Why do we need that type of stuff in movies in order to enjoy it? It's just something to think about. I came across this video that Candace Owens did on her podcast. And y'all, I ain't gonna lie. I might need to apologize to Candace Owens because I didn't like Candace Owens for a long time, but then I also never watched any of her videos because I just assumed she was like an Uncle Sam, because that's what everyone tells you. I don't know. I'm not about to go on a Candace Owens tangent, but I think I love her. I think I love her. Regardless though, she goes on her podcast and she talks about the I'm Not Here to Make Friends video, and I just agreed with everything she said. Let's take a look.
And what's incredible is that on YouTube, you cannot question the big pharma authority. God forbid you say that you had a reaction to a vaccine, but this is allowed. This is your kids can access this on YouTube. There is no warning. It's not considered graphic. And if you have a comment about it, it's because you are anti-LGBTQ RS. And by the way, I wish that shouldn't be a secret that I'm against this agenda on our children. People comment and say, when Cardi B makes WAP and I make commentary, oh, it's because she's black. Now I'm commenting and it's Sam and he's white, but oh, it's because he's queer, gender bending. No, it's because both of them are disgusting. That's the reason. Both of these individuals, when they make this kind of trash and try to claim that it's art, they're all dimwits, is what it is.
But did she lie though? Exactly, that's what I thought. Now, going back to what Ruslan said about how like Sam Smith is like still in Lil Nas X style. Like we all know Lil Nas X, he did the Call Me By Your Name where he goes down to hell and like twerks on the devil and all that kind of stuff. You know, Ruslan was like, bro, you still in this man's flow. And then I was doing some research and I came across some valuable information, right? Turns out that the director for the Lil Nas X Call Me By Your Name music video is also the same director for Sam Smith's I'm Not Here to Make Friends music video and Unholy music video. Thought that was interesting, so I decided to look into her a little bit, and I don't know how to say this name. Tanu Munio, Tanu, yeah, you know, I'm just gonna put it on the screen. That is her name, and I think she's from Switzerland, something like that. Sweden. I think she's from Sweden. One of those places. She seems very talented. I'm not gonna lie. I've looked over her videos on her website, like her top 10 music videos or top 20, whatever. And I do like her style. But one thing I have noticed, there is a common theme with her music videos, right? I like the way that they are shot, but I commonly see things like upside down crosses. For instance, let's look at the Cardi B Up music video, right? She's sitting in the cemetery and then it zooms in on the upside down cross. And then she did another music video that she directed for, I think, a Young Blood. It's called Fleabag or something like that. And at the end, he's like hanging upside down like a bat and then spreads his arms wide. And it looks like he is representing an upside down crucifix as well. And then I was looking at other music videos. She did one with, Normani. It starts off with a lot of red imagery. There's other music videos where it seems like red is her favorite color. And now look. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, if you're wearing red, it's just evil altogether. You're just an evil person. No, I think everyone who did that was upset about the whole Rihanna stuff. Even though there's other things about Rihanna to be upset about, I just didn't think that whole Super Bowl performance was one of them. And a lot of the reason why people were in uproar was because she was wearing the color red. And it's like, yo, like God gave us the color red. So it's like, calm down. Not everything that is red has to pertain to Satanism. But I do understand the concept that even though God has given us everything, we as humans also tend to abuse some of the things and misuse some of the things that God has given us. And I can't turn a blind eye and say that obviously red isn't like the color for Satan. Like that's his favorite color, clearly, bro. So I understand that. So I get a little bit why. So no, I'm not saying that just because this director uses red, that means that like she's like a Satanist or is purposely doing this. But I just thought it was a little weird that there is similar imagery in a lot of her music videos. All right, thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know your comments below. I already know some people are gonna hate on me. I already know. It's okay. That's fine. We can talk about it. It's cool. We can still have a conversation. You can call me all the names you want. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna still respond to you. I got you. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.